So let's have a look at the replay of these two going wide. Overgaard Pedersen, Paul Rees, I should say, colliding with Overgaard Pedersen and Ryan Cullen. All three of them missing the first chicane. There's Olsen being pretty forceful with Ammermuller. Drudy went around the outside, but then they hit each other. That allowed Jaap van Lagen in the 22 car up the inside to get past both of them. And Ammermuller, it wasn't done for him at this point. He was still a place behind Olsen, which wasn't ideal. And Olsen now has Mattia Drudy going past him. So Drudy's now into 4th place, Olsen into 5th. Ammermuller, meanwhile, is in 9th place. So Dennis Olsen in 5th spot. Here's a look now at what happened. It was at Parabolica. Great move from Mattia Drudy. Late on the brakes into the Parabolica, and that is 4th place. You can see discussions on the pit wall, and plenty of them. There is Michael Ammermuller. So Ammermuller's in 9th at the moment. Dennis Olsen's in 5th. So that would be a swing of 5 points. There's Paul Rees, he's out of the race after that collision down at the first corner. What's going on here? We've got Robert Lucas and Ryan Cullen side by side into Ascari. Cullen cuts across the curbing on the inside and holds on to that place at the moment. Makes that place actually up into 6th place for Ryan Cullen. Really good performance this for the Irishman. We're on board with Ammermuller in 9th place behind Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen. As it stands, the gap at the top of the championship would come down to just 3 points with 2 races remaining. Still Ammermuller would lead it, but Olsen would take the gap down to just 3 points. But Ammermuller's trying to make up places. Damage limitation now for the German. Lap 10 now of 14. He's in the tow of Overgaard Pedersen. Morin and Preining behind, going side by side. Josh Webster involved in there as well. Here are the standings. Campbell leading it. 1.5 seconds clear of Ashkanani. 3rd for Jaap van Lagen. 4th for Mattia Drudy. 5th for Dennis Olsen. Cullen, Lucas and Pedersen completing the top 8 with championship leader Michael Ammermuller in 9th position. Look how much curb they take, and Ammermuller's in the gravel again. Took too much curb, and that sent him out wide, and Preining looks to the inside now and goes through. Webster goes through. Phil Lilko trying to go through as well, but isn't quite able to do so. Yes, he is. And once again, Ammermuller is slipping away, and he slides, and I imagine his teammate Dan Camish won't go past him. Well, keep an eye out on the number 2 car. He's going to go around the outside here. You'd think, as Robert Lucas and Ryan Cullen almost come together down at Ascari, you'd think the 2 teammates would play it out so that Ammermuller remains ahead, and they do so. So here we go, on board with Ammermuller, goes wide into the first part, has to skip over the second part, bounces over it, sticks the wheels in the gravel, loses some bodywork parts as well. This is turning into a nightmare race for Michael Ammermuller. Now we've got Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen and Robert Lucas going side by side for 7th position. Ryan Cullen up in front of them in 6th place in what would be his best ever Porsche Supercup finish. The battle for 7th, Overgaard Pedersen in the white and red car, the Danish driver on the inside, Robert Lucas on the outside, the pole, and the pole is forced over the runoff area. Slots in behind Cullen. Philip Morin, I think, cut the chicane as well. So Ammermuller now down in 13th place, which would only give him 3 points compared to the 12 for a 5th place finish for Dennis Olsen. That's a 9-point swing, and as it stands, Dennis Olsen would move to the lead of the championship by 1 point. So we've got to keep an eye on Michael Ammermuller and see how far up the order he can progress. But what a race and what a championship swing we're seeing here. Ammermuller has led the title race since the opening day in Barcelona back in May. But that could all be about to change if he can't make progress. Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen past Robert Lucas, up into 7th place after Lucas runs wide at the second Lesmo. Lap 11 of 14. Lucas back through. Great fight between these two. Incident involving Philip Morin and Michael Ammermuller is under investigation as well. The two almost coming together on the exit of the second chicane. Lucas now on the inside here. Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen trying to get a good run. A little bit of a nudge in the middle of the parabolica there. Behind them is Philip Morin. Overgaard Pedersen covering the inside line, but nothing he can do. Philip Morin goes past. Preining goes through as well. Preining very late on the brakes there. There's going to be some nudges here. Overgaard Pedersen, and wow, what a move from Preining around the outside of Philip Morin. Ilgo Vililko going off the circuit, and that allows Ammermuller a place. Oh, they hit each other, coming through Curva Grande, and off is Ilgo Vililko. Back across in front of Alzuper, just gets away with that one. That was a scary one. There's bits of polystyrene on the circuit now. Vililko looks as though he's got damage on his right front. Matej Drudi sets the fastest lap of the race. Dan Kamish is cutting the chicane. Where do you look? Matej Drudi sets the fastest lap. So, here's a look at what we're seeing. Look at Preining go around the outside on the brakes. He's super late on the brakes and goes past Philip Morin. Great move. But then what happens here with Ammermuller? So, Vililko comes back onto the track, and then the two sort of inexplicably hit each other. Can't quite figure out why they would have come into contact there. They were obviously side by side, but then Vililko spinning back across the circuit. That was not fun. I think that could be the end of Vililko's race. Here's Ryan Cullen in 6th place. Then you've got Preining in behind him. Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen's been given the black and white driving standards warning flag. Campbell that leads across the line. Ashkanani 2nd, Drudi 3rd, Jaap van Lagen 4th. There is Vililko's race over. He's parked it at a good spot as we start the penultimate lap of the race. Hopefully the marshals can pull that back and it'll just be covered under yellow flags. Philip Morin and Preining going side by side. Preining holding on to 8th place at the moment. So Ammermuller now, well, Ammermuller's now behind Kamish and in 13th position. So Ammermuller behind his teammates, and there's contact. Morin's off in the gravel. So's Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen, but Morin, well, I think he might keep it out of the barriers and keep going. Wow, they both continue. That's 2 places gained for Ammermuller meanwhile. Penultimate lap of what has been a frantic Porsche Supercup race. Perfetti's just been off. Quaresmini there in car number 34. He was running down in about 15th position. Mikkel Overgaard Pedersen's dropped back. See what happens here. Overgaard Pedersen and Philip Morin coming through Curva Grande. Again, just such unnecessary contact because that's an easy flat-out right-hander. Here's Ammermuller's view of it. Sees the 2 cars flying off and says, well, that's actually Dan Kamish's view. Kamish then got a good run on Josh Webster. Didn't quite manage to get through. Here we see them again. And it's almost as if Philip Morin didn't realise Overgaard Pedersen was there on the outside. How he kept it out the barriers, I have no idea. Final lap of the race now for Matt Campbell. Ashkanani 2nd, Drudi 3rd, Van Lagen 4th. 5th for Dennis Olsen. Here's Ammermuller. They're both going past Josh Webster here. So that'll be Amaya up into 10th position. If he can hold on. Oh, there's contact with Robert Lucas. And they do manage to get through, so Kamish now up into 9th, Amaya into 10th. So 10th place would be a 6-point swing in the championship. So that means the gap would come down to just 2. Amaya still leading now that he's gained up a few places. But oh, Josh Webster super late on the brakes. Looked as though he was lunging at Amaya, had to go straight on. And they all slot back into their appropriate positions. But it would be a 2-point lead that Michael Amaya would hold at the top of the standings going into the final 2 races. That would be too tight to call in Mexico City. So make sure you join us for it. October, actually, isn't it? Rather than September, it's October, the race in Mexico City. 28th and 29th at the Circuit de Manos Rodriguez. Here's Matt Campbell, though, into the Parabolica for the final time. 4 pole positions this season, only 1 win at the Red Bull Ring. But now the young Australian from Queensland adds to his Porsche Supercup tally by taking victory in Monza. A first ever podium for Zaid Ashkanani in 2nd place. Great drive from the young Q80 driver, with Matteo Drudi, the Italian, getting a home podium. Jaap van Lagen across the line in 4th. 5th, though, for Dennis Olsen. And across the line, Kamish finishes ahead of Amaya. As we see Matt Campbell waving, sees himself on the big screen and gives a wave to the camera. But Amaya finishing behind Kamish, meaning that the gap is 2 points at the top of the championship now. Amaya leads it, but only 2 points clear of Dennis Olsen, where it was 8 points coming into the weekend. But Matt Campbell taking the victory, dominated the Porsche Carrera Cup Australia last year, and the young Porsche driver, by that I mean Porsche young driver, part of the programme, has had a great victory. Great performance from Zaid Ashkanani, the Q80 driver for the MRS GT racing team, having a good run in 2nd position. 3rd across the line for Matteo Drudi. But there's Dennis Olsen. But what will the reaction be of Michael Amaya, because that was just a disastrous race. There's the 3rd place man, Matteo Drudi, at his home race, getting on the podium for only the 2nd time. A 2nd place in Spa was his first podium finish.